Hey guys, Brian here, and welcome back to Direct Admission. And today we have my best friend, Alex Keanu, who's also a nurse who went through a lot in the beginning of his career. He almost quit the whole profession twice. There's a lot of things going on. He moved away from me, his friends, his family, all to start anew in a new place. And we go over everything from work-life balance, nurses eating their youngs, and everything in between. So this is a really good one. I hope y'all like it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's jump right into the video. So we have my best friend, Alex Keanu, also known as Q, here with me today, and he's also a nurse, and we're just gonna jump into it. I'm sure this is gonna be a fun one because, of course, we haven't seen each other in a while, and it's the first time talking a little bit. So, Q, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and what do you do, and we'll just go from there.
Well, my name is Q, Alex Q, that is. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 5 years now. Started off working at a bank and I was like, wow, this is miserable. So I just followed the Filipino culture and just went into nursing. And I have regretted it ever since. No, I'm just kidding. It's been an up and down road for sure. But right now I'm working in long-term care and it's been good for me so far. I started off in a hospital in New York City, and that was great, right, Bri?
Yeah.
That was at the beginning of COVID, so I mean, it was rough for everybody. But that didn't last, and then I went into dialysis. That was fun. I did that for a couple of years. Went into management in dialysis. That was cool. Until it wasn't cool anymore, and then and now I'm in long-term care. So that's me in a nutshell.
So let's just backtrack. So we went to the same school, but at different times. We both went to UB, and then you were a psych major, and then
I went in for psych, and then I got into grad school for mental health counseling. And then my first semester, I realized, holy shit, this isn't it.
This isn't it.
So I got out of that, and then I started working for Citigroup, which was a major 180. And then I did that for a couple of years, but it was kind of miserable just being in front of a computer for 10 hours straight, doing mindless work. So I was like, I got to do a change.
What made you change to nursing though? Other than the typical Filipino, just do it. You're naturally going to be good at it because you're Filipino.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest, it was the quickest route because I already had my bachelor's and I could just do the accelerated program. And I have been with my wife for so long at that point. Right now, we've been together for 19 years this year. And we wanted to start a family closer to that point. And I was like, I got to pick a career that I know is going to give me an income that can support a family quickly. So I just went for nursing, and here I am.
And so I'm obviously I didn't go through an accelerated nursing school. My wife did. Well, Meg did. And how was that for you? Super fast paced. That's all I really hear of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was quick. I mean, it was one of the quicker programs. Some programs go for 16, 18 months. This was only a 12-month program.
Oh, dang. I didn't know it was 12 months.
It was only 12 months. And it was a real kick in the nuts. Wait, am I allowed to curse on this?
Yeah, curse all you want, man.
Okay. It was a real kick in the balls. So I was I was studious as a student in my bachelor's previous, but
I was about to say, we weren't that studious in high school.
Not in high school, but when I got into college, I kind of got, my head together. But then getting into this program, I was like, it was very, it was a job. It was 9 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. Even on the weekend, you couldn't really do anything because you had so much homework to do.
Because you probably had a test on Monday or something, right?
Was
there a test every day?
Every week. There was a test every week. Every other day, I think there was a test.
Oh, dang. I would hate myself.
I mean, it was good because my cohort was they were very close. We were very close. So we all helped each other out. Even as we kind of started the herd started thinning out toward the end of the program, we just got closer and closer. So that helped, like I had a lot of really smart friends and they pushed me to get
Mhm.
smarter or at least try harder.
Try hard.
So I didn't look as dumb when I sat next to them. So
Well, we could just be like those the people in the group project that just make everyone laugh, and that's our value.
that's what it was.
That's the value that we have,
I made
making
everybody.
people
I
laugh.
was the class clown, and it was good. There was like a scary moment. I think I forgot what class it was. I think it was med surge or something. The second class for that, where I got close to failing out,
Mhm.
and like I had pretty much like half the class like studying with me, like you have to pass, you have to stay.
We need you.
So like there's just all that support, and of course the support from family and friends that kind of just push you through something that hard. So yeah,
And
it
and then
sucked.
yeah, like that's what I can imagine, like having all that like not it's not even spoon fed to you. It's just I feel like they just give you for accelerated from what Meg told me, like they just feed you PowerPoints and expect you to
Yeah,
learn it.
if anything, it was more of like a memorization game.
Mhm.
Like it's not so much learning things, it's just memorizing them, and it's not great in terms of like then you get thrust into the world to start taking care of patients and expect to know everything you learned in the last year. And if there's anything that I wish there was more of, it was more of like better clinical experiences, because I didn't really have great clinical experiences through that
Mhm.
program. So I didn't really feel like I was prepared when I got out into the real world.
And that's what I feel like is the closer you get to New York City for all like the nursing schools here, from what I've heard, they I guess they just don't give good clinical experience, or if you go to clinical, they don't let you do a lot of like hands-on things.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was in Buffalo, they treated you like you were a nurse. They're like, draw that blood, do this, do that. Like everything had a
Oh
lot of like
no, we were not.
hands-on like blood IV skills and all that when I left, because they're just like, I'll just do it. Who's gonna know if you're a student or not?
No, we couldn't do any of that. We couldn't draw blood. That was a big no-no during our school time, our clinical
Really?
times. Yeah. Until this day, I'm still afraid to do peripheral IVs. Like Jesus. I mean, I was in dialysis for 4 years, but that's like throwing a hot dog into a hallway when it comes to like cannulating people. You know what I mean? So it's not the same thing. Now I do it a little bit more now that I'm in long-term care. I get to play around with people's arms, but not so much back then.
So just bringing it up, just going back in, like for I've thought about it a while. Like I've thought about it a few times. Like when I'm at work, I was like, did I see myself when I was like in high school becoming a nurse? And the answer is absolutely not. Because what me and you did a lot, we played a lot of video games, we played a lot of sports. It's like it was gonna be one of those things. We were gonna go into some sort of sports medicine, or we were just born too early to become a professional gamer or
Oh my
streamer.
God, for sure.
Like,
If we let me just tell you, there is that point in time. I think it was like just as I was finishing up nursing school, where me and you were streaming a
mhm.
lot on Twitch. And I was like, shit, I made $70 this month. I think I might make it. I think I might be the next ninja. So I thought, oh man, this nursing degree is a total waste. And then all of a
Total waste. What am I doing here?
and then I started working, and I was like, oh, actually, I don't have time to stream anymore. So that was a that was a dream gone by. But yeah,
Man,
I mean, you look at all these streamers like that are like super young, these young pro video game players, and it's like, yeah, we really missed that boat. If we had this when we were in high school, we might have been Booga or like
yeah.
or Clicks
All,
or somebody like those
yeah,
cool
any of those big guys. Like
kids.
that's what I feel all the time. Like we could have been that. We had the personality to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, we're talking on interviews right now, but we're not playing video games.
Man, it is what it is.
We're not afraid of a camera.
No, we'll take what we can get at this point of our lives.
So you got into the hospital that I work at, my brother works at, everyone works at. Obviously, we didn't expect it to take that crazy turn into COVID, where it just like shedded the workforce of the hospital, and obviously it just got the unit you went on was like a med surge, respiratory, dump fire, right?
It had like 6 ICU beds and like 10 step down beds and like 20
Mhm.
med surge beds. And it was a mess. And
Yeah.
I am super grateful to be able to have the opportunity to work there. I mean, you and your family helped me get there. But I mean, it was just and this is the thing, like when people talk about nurses eating their young, that is such a
Mhm.
thing. Like my preceptor was not great. And she was a good nurse, but as far as precepting and like leading the next generation of nurses into the fray, like that just wasn't her specialty. She just didn't have the personality for it. And it almost drove me away from nursing. Like you know me, Brian. Like you know me
Yeah.
like as like a guy that's like I'm a man's well, not man's I don't do construction and shit. But like I like when have you seen me cry, right? Like
Yeah.
I would literally come out of a shift and I would come home, get into my car, and I'd start tearing up. Like, shit, is this what I want to do? Like,
Mhm.
she made me feel really stupid, and like, it got to the point where one day she was like, "You really need to think about if you want to do this for the rest of your life. Like, if you want this to be in your career, because you need to start doing better. You're not good at it right now, and like, you should start thinking about other options." And
What the heck?
I went home that day and I was just like, man, maybe she's right.
Damn, that's how bad it was that it it made you start second guessing yourself.
hmm
Damn.
It was just like, and I had to have a long sit down with Michaela, my wife, and she was just like, you know what? Maybe this place isn't it. Maybe she's not it, but maybe there'll be a place somewhere else that you'll fit
Mhm.
in and be appreciated more. So yeah, I went in that the next day, the next shift, and I was like, listen, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
can't handle it here, clearly. And they were like, oh, you don't need to take 2 weeks, just go home. I'm like, all right.
What?
Yeah. They paid me for the 2 weeks and that was it. Then I
Dang.
went into dialysis right after that.
And
Which was
that's
nice.
that's a pretty cool thing because from what I've heard about dialysis, most places aren't that willing to train. Like they just want people that have experience
Right.
because it's such a niche specialty.
Mhm.
So like how did you find it and they were willing to train you like right off the bat?
Well, I got lucky off the COVID train. It
Ah.
was right. It was around March or April of 2020, and like the nursing force was pretty much decimated at that point. So
Mhm.
everybody was kind of just every company was grabbing at straws, trying to figure out like who they were going to hire, and they knew I didn't have any experience, but they were so willing to train me just because they needed people, and it was just I was like, all right, sure, why not? And they were like, come on board, and the rest is history. Granted, the place that I was hired to work at, they couldn't train me because they had so few staff. I would say more than half their staff were travelers
Oh dang.
at that point. So I got trained in another facility, which was in uh, Valley Cottage, which is not too far. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I did get the training I needed, and it ended up working out for the best.
And then so how long were you a dialysis nurse before you jumped into management?
Um, I would say a year and a half. I was a
Okay.
dialysis nurse, and then and then I moved from New York to Pennsylvania during that time. And at
Mhm.
the end, the clinic that I was at, the manager had just put in their 2 weeks, and I just thought, you know, why the hell not? I kind of know the gig here.
Mhm.
Michaela's always pushing me to do something more,
Mhm.
well, because she always believed that I could be, you know, more than what I am.
Yeah.
And I always thought back to what my manager back in New York, in my dialysis clinic in New York, would say. Like, he said that I never pushed myself hard enough. I could have taken on more, but I just chose to like be comfortable where I was at, but always felt like I could do more. So I said, why not? I'll give it a shot. And
Uh-huh.
it was good. It was good for the first couple months. I think my biggest problem that I had as a manager was that I was too much of a people pleaser. And that
Mhm.
is a trait you cannot have in management because you cannot please everybody. And I constantly tried to, but it's because
Mhm.
it was especially harder because like I was a coworker of theirs, like for a couple months leading into my management. So like they always just saw me as their coworker, and it was hard to kind of like break that barrier of, okay, now I'm your manager.
Oh,
And
that's hard.
but it kind of it for a while it did well. We did well with each other. I think it what really wore me down toward the end was the unrealistic goals of the company and how I couldn't translate that to what my clinic could bring to them. My manager specifically was very she was always setting goals that were unattainable, but that was on purpose. Like her goals were always higher than what the actual company goals were,
Mm-hmm.
just so that we would get close to what the company goals were. But in the end, it just stressed all the managers out in her area because, like, she would still yell at us for not meeting her standards, even if we were meeting company standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're still doing really well for the company, but just she was like shooting for the stars on everything.
Right, right. And it got to the point where it stressed me out. And for a facility that was as big as mine, because I had like 120 some patients, and that's pretty big for a dialysis clinic in the area. And it was the biggest in her area by far. Like normally you'd have like a charge nurse to help you kind of like sort through all that stuff. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
one. I had a brand new secretary, so she was basically like not as helpful as I'd like.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do a lot of like secretarial work. I had to do a lot of like work on the floor. I had to do a
Yeah,
lot.
you're telling me that you're still working as like a staff nurse too while you're being a manager, like
Yep,
still doing a lot.
yep. And then to manage the expectations of a boss whose expectations are out of this world is just it was a lot of stress, and it was a lot of stress to bring home, and it was just not something that I wanted for me and my family. So
Like, was the pay worth it? Like, was there a significant pay bump from staff nurse to manager that kept you there for as long as you did?
not really, no.
You're just strictly doing it to be like, let me just try it, push
Honestly,
myself a little bit.
I pushed myself. I honestly did it to push myself, and to like, not gonna lie, pad my resume to show that I have the ability to be some sort of leader.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, the job that I'm working at now, and if I pick up like a PRN thing here and there, like I'm making the same amount of money as I was as a manager. So
So it's not
it,
anything significant enough to be like, I could do this a little bit longer kind of thing.
no, no. If anything, they really took advantage of me in terms of what they paid me.
Just bend over, boy.
Just bend over and take it.
So since you were in that managerial role, that's what I always question. Says obviously I don't have the experience of that. Like that's like the question I sometimes wonder. Maybe we'll try to get Mark on here because I know he's in that type of director type role. Like to have that responsibility, like I see that you had when you'd visit up here, you'd have people calling you about like sick calls and all that while you're up here. Like how like I don't see the benefit if there's not like a significant pay bump or like a bonus to have that type of responsibility when you're technically off the clock, like when you're a staff nurse, you're there from 7 to 7 or 7 to 3, whatever your shift is, and then once you're done,
You're done.
it's done, you're done.
Yep.
And like the next shift, it's the next shift's problem or the next shift's thing, whatever you want to call it. But being in that managerial role, you're on call 24/7, and that's tough.
And that's the thing too, because like when you're on PTO, you have a covering manager. It's just that my staff hated all the other fucking managers. So they like to call me, and me being the people pleaser that I am would be like, yeah, I'm available to you guys 24/7. What? So I honestly didn't mind taking those calls because
Because you liked your staff or
I
something.
loved my staff. I loved my staff. I hated my manager. That was pretty much the story of my management experience. But yeah, I mean, you're right. There's no significant pay increase. There's no real benefit to do it other than to use it as a stepping stone for where you want to get like further into. For me, I was thinking maybe I would take up a director of operations role there, but nah. Yeah.
Nah.
I think at this point now, I just kind of want to experience different things. Like
Hmm.
I'm trying to get into like a PRN role with like an OR or something, just so I can like experience more of what nursing has to offer, because I feel like there's things out there that I would really like, but just haven't really gotten the chance to try out yet. You know?
That's true. Like that's why I was like messaging you loud, like, hey, when are you coming back? Because we have a lot of openings in where I work, and I think you would be freaking perfect for it, especially if you worked with me.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh god. No work would ever get done. What are you talking about?
it'd be so much fun to have you there because like it is like very niche specialty, but I feel for the most part, this even though I've talked about it a lot, where the personalities where I work in the lab that I work in, very strong personalities, but for the most part, there isn't like eating your eating your young thing because we
Mhm.
know that if we have open positions, that means we need you, and if you're willing to work, we're gonna treat you really well thing. And of course, there's certain benefits from being in like a niche area, like no weekends, no holidays,
Oh yeah,
and
that's
then
nice.
a lot of other stuff that we could go into off off this. That's why I was
Mhm.
like, damn, it'd be really dope to work with my best friend.
Yeah, that'd be fucking sick.
And
Well,
then
maybe down the line when we make it our way back, yeah, that's what we want to do.
so since you were saying like you wanted to go into other specialties or to see everything else, so after you quit the manager job, now you're at a long-term care facility. How did you get into that instead of like working like a hospital or something?
It's where Michaela works, my wife.
Oh,
So I needed something quick because like she didn't even let me put my 2 weeks in. She was just like, "You're gone," my manager. So I was like, the second experience I had to have with that was like just being out of there. So I had to get something quick, and I already had it in with Michaela being at this place, and I already knew. Like I've spoken to the manager and the what's it called, the administrator there.
mhm.
So I just had to call them. They set up an interview, and I was hired in like no time flat. I didn't have to wait for anything. So it was, it worked out, and it's a really nice facility where a lot of the patients are private pay. No, all the
Oh
patients are
wow.
private pay.
So it's like a high-end facility.
So it's basically a hotel. It doesn't even like, you go into a nursing home, it's like, yeah, that's a nursing home.
Yeah, it
But
smells like
like,
piss when you walk in.
yeah, but you walk into this place and it's legit like a hotel. And it's not just like a long-term like skilled facility. Like they have like apartments for independent living. They have
Oh,
houses in the community. It's a gated community. Like you have to get scanned to get in. It's a pretty swanky place. Like even for my meals, like you would think like, oh my god, you're eating the food at your nursing job,
workplace, yeah.
nursing home place. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, they got like goddamn filet mignon steaks, they got scallops, they got like all this.
Dang, this is a
They had
bougie
they
place.
had like ribs and mac and cheese day, and like I was like, oh my god, I'm all in that. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a nice job. I really like it right now. Like the residents are all nice, and management's been good to me. So I'm just riding it out for now until I find something else. Not
And the
so
pay
much.
is good?
Yeah, the pay's good. Pay's good for me right now. I do probably need to pick up more PRN shifts other places, but like
Mhm.
right now we're doing well, so I'm not worried.
That's good. Especially that you're in Pennsylvania, you're not having to I'm assuming you don't have to worry about, like, the same type of, like, rent or well, you have a house, like, mortgage as, like, a New York home because shit
Oh
is fucking
no.
crazy here.
Yeah, that's why we left New York so that we can afford something, to put my family in. I mean, but yeah, I mean the what we have here, I would probably say we would pay for twice the amount in New York for the
Dang.
mortgage. I mean, and we don't have much. It's just a two-bed, two-bath.
Mhm.
And I don't
But, yeah,
know.
but New York would be insane.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, where we are at, the neighborhood where we're at, the school district we're at, I mean, you just couldn't beat the prices for that.
So just an off-topic thing with the Pittsburgh Bills game going on, who you rooting for?
Bills. And I tell that to my residents. Everyone in the facility, they're all Steelers fans. And I'm like, "Are you ready to get crushed, old man? Yeah, your
While you're
team has
crushing
been,
their pills.
yeah, like,
Crushing
Silent Night Crusher. This is the Bills of the Steelers." No, I mean, I love because a lot of them are huge sports fans, and like they know I'm a Giants fan, so they know my team rankings go from Giants, Bills, and then Steelers. So
Hmm.
I tell them like you just drew the unfortunate straw to play against the Bills, and it's gonna be a shitstorm, literally in terms of weather. So it could be anyone's game, to be honest. But you know, they know who
They,
I
they
am.
they know. And then, so just going back into nursing, since you were in grad school originally for your first degree, would you ever do a grad school for nursing?
Oh man, I thought about it a lot. I mean, I just don't know if I have like the time. You know, we
Hmm.
have the one baby and now we have the second baby on the
One on the
way.
way. Yep. Congrats on that.
Thank you, thank you.
When do you find out the gender? Or is
We
that the right word? The sex? I don't even know
yes,
the.
we find out what they are on what's it called? February 5th is the anatomy scan.
Nice. That's
So
kind of soon.
yeah, it is. It is kind of soon. It's very exciting.
What they
I want to know specifically so we can appropriately, start buying shit because now it's like we have all of James's stuff, my son. We have
Hmm.
all of his stuff, like his young baby stuff. So like it
Hmm.
would be so much of a convenience for us to just reuse that shit.
Yeah.
But then like if it turns out to be a girl, you know, I don't want to just give them blue stuff and they think, oh, I don't want blue stuff. I have to respect what they are and their gender. It's 2024, Brian. We have to get with it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So I'm
Hmm.
thinking like, I do want a girl though. I want to complete the set.
Yeah.
Kyla wants another boy.
No, it's fun. It's fun having one of each. It's definitely, at least you know when you're old, he'll be taken care of.
Yeah, for sure. Because the boy ain't gonna do it.
No.
Boy ain't gonna do it.
So
Oh,
are you done after this, you think?
I don't know. It depends. Like, our big plan is to come back to New York. And if we
Hmm.
came back to New York and the plan was to get a bigger place, then yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
Because we have a bigger place and the job that I would get there would end up being probably twice as much as what I'm making here.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, for sure, I would be willing to have more. Like, I'll cap it at three. I
Snip,
think
snip right after.
I think the operation for the snip snip would be right after baby gets born for sure. But no, I mean I honestly like I don't mind having a big family. It's just having the resources
Yeah.
to sustain it.
That's the thing. That's a tough part. Well, like luckily, if you did move here, the pay is a lot more, but also the expenses are super high. So yeah, it's a conversation worth having
Yeah,
with yourself.
yeah, for
The,
sure.
the pull-out game got to be strong.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
Just to go back into the move, like obviously we were all like super sad when you told us that you were moving to Pennsylvania. The biggest thing was the pricing and all that.
Yeah, because at that point, I mean, James was like what? He was 7, 8 months old, and like
Hmm.
we didn't want to just stay in her parents' house because that's where we
Yeah.
were. Because it by itself was just a small house, and like you could see as each month came, like it became smaller and smaller for him to move around in there.
Yeah.
So, and there was nothing in our price range in the area. I mean, New York housing market is like an absolute joke at that time.
Yeah.
So there were places that were available in Pittsburgh that
Hmm.
we were interested in since her sister lived there, and we just decided to take the dive. I mean, we needed somewhere for him to grow,
Hmm.
and we needed something to have of our own. You know, and granted, when we first got there, we rented just because like we needed to have like our job set up and then what's it called find the right place, which ended up being
Hmm.
right across the street from her sister's house. Like
That's awesome.
we're little neighbors, so like whenever we need someone to watch Jamie, like he just runs across the street. We just kick him out the door and say, go to Auntie Nina's.
I didn't know that's how close you are.
Yeah, literally, we're in a cul-de-sac, and she's literally on the other side of the sack.
Nice.
Yes.
That's awesome. I didn't know we have to visit you guys while you're still down there.
Fuck
Gotta
yeah,
figure
man.
that out.
Oh yeah, we'd love to have you. You know,
Maybe not in the winter, because is the winters bad over there?
no, it's not as bad as Buffalo. I mean, you and me both have experienced Buffalo winter, so like a winter is never gonna be as bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would say the only bad thing about it is how they handle it. Like, you know how in Buffalo, like when they knew something was coming,
They're already like salting and
right.
plowing as they're going. Yeah.
But like we'll know in advance here, like you guys, it's gonna snow. Where's all the salt trucks? They won't do it until like the night of, and like
While it's snowing already.
while it's already snowing. I'm just like, oh, fuck it. You know, it's gonna be a slushy mess in the morning. I can't complain after being in Buffalo, where you were used to getting feet of snow,
Feet.
feet of snow
Feet.
instead of inches. Like you can't be living in a place long term where you're counting feet of snow. So
That's
they
so
handled
true.
their business. I mean,
But
they
feet.
were 10 toes down on the snow over there. So for sure, they knew how to handle it.
And then you were talking about possibly doing like per diem work, PRN work. What's your shift now for at the long-term care?
I'm
Is it 12-hour
technically
shifts?
so right now I'm doing 3 12s, and
Oh, that's good. You don't really hear that for long-term care places having 12-hour
no,
shifts.
and they had to make it special for me.
Oh,
They really wanted me to be there, and I told them, listen, I really want to work 3 12s, and they're like, well, we don't really offer that. We do 5/8. So I'm like, oh, that's a shame. And they're like, okay, let me.
that's a shame.
That's a shame.
As you're walking out the door.
That's a shame. I really like it here. It's like really nice. Like I'm looking around, like I totally would love to work here. But no, but then they were like, there is somebody else here that is interested in working 12, so let me work around the schedule and let's see what we can do. So yeah, I mean, it ended up working out. There's like 3 or 4 people that are working 12s in this facility. So, I mean, and it's nice for coverage because like I'll do my 8 hours of being a nurse, and like if we're short on aides, I'll help out the aides for the last 4 hours,
Oh.
which helps me pick up some, patient care skills that I never really had before too. Because in dialysis, I'm
Will
not.
they still pay you the nurse rate
Oh,
for good?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and it's good because like I get a chance to work with the aides because the aides are the fucking backbones of the goddamn medical community. I feel because they
Yeah,
do a
I
lot of the
agree.
backbreaking work. So and plus my wife is an aide, and if I didn't say that, she'd probably come downstairs and beat the shit out of me. But yeah, I get a chance to learn how to like learn how they work and what makes me what I could do to make their life more easy.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of nurses that don't do shit for their aides,
That's true.
which is
That's
a
true.
fucking shame because like you have so much time to and I'll say this, if your time management skills are like on point where they need to be, and if you're
Mhm.
not getting like an admission or a discharge or what have you, you have a lot of time to help your aides.
Mhm. That's
And if
true.
you're not doing it, then you are fucking up because
That is 100% true.
you might be thinking you have an easy day, like, oh, I don't have to do anything because blah blah blah. But now the aides are looking at you like he's just been sitting there for like
Like
five
for a
hours
while.
doing jack shit while I'm running around with my head cut off. Like, what kind of fucking guy is this? Like you have the opportunity to increase your relationship with your coworkers at that point. Why not do it?
That's true because like when I was on the floors before I moved to the lab where I'm working at, when I used to precept the new nurses or the new nurses would come up to me for resources and stuff, I was like, other than your preceptor, forget all the other nurses here right now. I was like, the person that's going to help you the most to get through your shift is going to be your aide, your PCA or your nurses tech, whatever you want to call them,
Yep.
the aide. If you're good with them, your day is going to be amazing. They're going to do your blood draws. They'll help you with cleaning patients.
Oh yeah.
And if you're really good with them, they'll prioritize your tasks
Over others.
over everyone else.
Yep.
But to be good with them, you also have to show that you're willing to
Go the mile for them.
Yeah, go the mile for them. You're willing to help them out if they needed help.
Yep.
And even if it's like in the help, usually instead of them answering the call light, you do it yourself.
Right.
Like the small little things that you should probably do. A
Right.
lot of nurses don't. Like they just wait for their tech or their aide to do it. But if you do it and you get whatever is needed done, get that bedpan, get that little Shasta soda. Like,
Right.
how hard is that?
It's not.
Right?
It's really not, especially in a facility like mine where a lot of them are walkie-talkie. Like you
Mhm.
can get up and help them do whatever they need. Oh, you need water for your humidifier? You're gonna ask your aide to do that when you have time? Just get the fucking distilled
Yeah.
water. Are you kidding me? It's like a 15-step walk for you. Like, but there are nurses in this facility that will just let people drown. Like, and it's a shame because some days they'll be overstaffed on nurses and they'll be
Mhm.
understaffed on techs or aides. And it's like you're expected at that point as a nurse, you have to help them. But then there's the
Mhm.
nurse there that will just fucking sit down and do her nurse work and
Like,
let
I'm not doing
everybody
that.
else suffer. Right. And it's a goddamn shame because like especially for this nurse that I'm thinking of specifically, they are a new nurse with no
Aye.
medical background, and they are setting themselves up for failure by not learning these how to treat their aides. And it's been
Mhm.
brought up before, but it's just I don't know, it's just
And
not in there.
I'm assuming this isn't a union job, is
Nope.
it? Nope. So it's like when enough people complain, you're gonna be out of a job.
Right. Right. Like you have to be able to, especially now in this unit specifically, we are overstaffed on nurses. They didn't need me, but they wanted me.
Wanted it. Who
So
wouldn't want you, man?
they wanted me. So I don't want to make it seem like I have a huge ego, but at the same time, it's like they want to make sure that they have quality nurses because they know they have nurses that aren't cutting it.
Mhm.
So when they're bereft or when they have a lot of nurses at this point, like you have to make sure that you are on your game or your hours are going to just start dwindling.
Yeah, that's what I could imagine, that they'll just start cutting hours, like, "Ah, this one's not really cutting it. We're
Right.
paying them to do the minimal, so maybe this is the one that we gotta let go."
Right.
That's wild. Like, that's something I've always, like, hated about, I guess, the nursing community. It's either the eating of the young or the stupid lazy ones,
Oh yeah.
and it's and if it's lazy and they're brand new, that's even worse because they're gonna be in the workforce for how long? And if they somehow start precepting people, they're gonna try to teach people that same exact way where it just doesn't cut it and makes
No.
the whole like profession look bad.
Right.
And that sucks.
And I don't want to make it seem like I'm bullying this one nurse because I have personally went to this nurse and told them what they need to do
Hmm.
and they need to start like fixing their shit because like you don't want to be that nurse that people get stuck working with.
Hmm.
And I didn't say it in so mean a way, but but it's the same concept. Like you have to learn how to treat the people around you if you want to have success as a nurse.
Hmm.
Like what's the one thing that they teach you? Empathy, right? Like you
Yep.
have to empathize with the people, not just your patients, but your staff too. Like your the people that are supporting you and your managers and things like that. You have to understand where they're coming from to be a good nurse.
Yep.
And if you can't do that, if you're stuck in your little world, I mean, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Like, and that's what she's doing, and that's what's happening. And it's just a shame.
Did she take the advice, or she just kind of like let
No,
it go in one ear? What? Ugh,
one ear out the other.
garbage.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like I guess when people start eating their young, they see people like this very often. So that's why they start to eat their young a little bit,
Hmm.
which is a shame, but there's no excuse for it. I mean, you have to kind of just learn to listen to the feedback of others and not take it personally. Like taking criticism is like one of the best things you could do as a nurse. It's how you learn to be better.
100%.
It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be perfect. I'm like, I don't know how to connect the whatever, what's it called, a Mickey port to a feeding tube at some point. That's something I learned recently. So like
Hmm.
when they're telling me like how to do it, I'm not taking it personally. I'm taking it as a learning experience. Whereas this nurse will take it as like, I know what I'm doing. I've learned this already in nursing school. I'm like, No, you didn't.
Oh,
I guarantee you.
yeah. You sure? You sure about that?
You sure about that? You learned this in nursing school? No, no.
You
It's
sure
just,
about that?
and it's just sad. It's sad, but at the same time, like me as just a grunt worker now, I'm just I'm doing what I do and I'm helping who I can help. That's what I do now. I tried my piece with her and she still decides to be like that, then that's on management now.
Yeah. You gave your 2 cents in a nice way, and she just not taking it.
No, no, it is what it is. You can't fix everything.
So,
That's
do they offer overtime for you guys there?
not right now, no.
Because you
Well,
said there's too many nurses.
they're offering overtime for nurses to work as aid.
Hmm.
So that's where you would have to pick up, and lo and behold, not a lot of nurses want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, because why the fuck not? I'd
Yeah,
rather,
you already know the area. You're getting paid your rate anyway.
right?
Do they treat you differently when you pick up those age?
I don't think so. No, not so much. It's
Because that would be shitty.
yeah, no, they don't. They don't. I mean, they treat everyone pretty fairly across the board. Like it's not like a place that really like will give shit to aides like quite frequently like other places will.
Mm-hmm.
No, they treat you pretty well across the board there. So I wouldn't say. I think that the one thing is like they expect me to know everything about being an aide. I don't.
Because
So
yeah,
I'll,
the roles are different, and it's a total different role. So.
it's and the thing is like for a long-term facility, like a lot of the residents have their what's it called, their routines, and the
Mm-hmm.
aides know these routines better than the nurses ever will.
Mm-hmm.
Like who gets up when, who goes to dinner when, who needs to have the shower when. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I do better in support of aides, like having an aide with me. But I think alone as an aide, I'd be like, I'll do my best, but I'm not gonna get the shower done if that's true.
My timing isn't good on that.
No, I'd be lucky if I get everybody in bed before 10.
I can't even get my kids to sleep by 10. So it's like,
Exactly.
how am I going to get a
I can't
grown
get
ass
my son
adult?
to bed. He goes to sleep at 12. God help him. He just won't sleep.
But dang. So the eventual move back to New York is what? 2 years down the line, maybe a year, 2 years down the line.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the house that you have now? Are you going to rent it out?
I'm hoping to rent it out because it would be a waste, I feel. Like it would be a nice little source of income because we could
Mm-hmm.
definitely rent it out for more than what we're paying for it right now. Because the people
That,
right next to us are renting and they're definitely paying more than what we're paying right now.
more than your
So
mortgage.
yeah. So
That that's cool to have too, because technically you could still say it's your primary residence, and then for the first like year or so while you're settling back in, you could do like travel contracts saying you're still a Pittsburgh resident and just rake in some money here in New York.
in New York, yeah. I hope that's legal, right? I don't
Yeah,
know too much about.
I'm pretty sure as long as it's your residence.
We're gonna have to delete this section of the tape. Just kidding.
We'll look into the legalities of it, but that'd be awesome to have. Because I
Yeah.
feel like that's what a lot of people do with like wherever they were from before. They technically just keep their house as like their primary residence
Primary
and all their
residence.
mail out. Good little way to make it work.
Yeah. That's a nice little thing I didn't even think of. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, man. So what's the plan for you for the next like year until you move here?
Let's see. I guess work as much as I can, make as much money as I can, and spend it all on the baby that's about to be born in June. So that's really,
That's
that's
really.
really, that's all it's set up to be right now, man.
And if anyone wanted to reach out to you because they're going through some hardships, like you went through 2 hardships already with nursing where you didn't quit, which I'm very proud of you for, because obviously great job, but they put you through the ringer of just being assholes to you.
Yeah.
If people wanted to talk to you about how to make it through nursing with bad experiences, how would they get in contact with you?
Well, I am on Instagram, APQUIJANO. That's really all I look at.
That's all you got.
I'm an older millennial. I don't do these
The tiki
Snapchats,
talkies.
Snapchats and the talk ticks. You know what I mean? Is anybody still on Facebook? No, I'm on Instagram. You can DM me there. That's fine.
If you were going to give advice to any new nurse trying to get into the workforce, what would you give?
If you're gonna find a job, no doubt, new nurses, you're gonna find a job. If it doesn't feel like it's working out, try. And if it still doesn't work out, then there's always going to be a place for you in the nursing world. There's another specialty, there's another hospital, there's another clinic that will make you feel like you are at home. Don't feel like you have to suffer through things just because they tell you that's what you have to do. Like a lot of the big talk in nursing schools, you have to do a year of med surge just because you have to get your skills up. But a lot of the classmates that I went to school with, they went straight into the ICU. So, I mean, if you want to do something, go for it. There's a place for you in nursing for sure. Don't let a bad experience define your career. Let it, push you into finding something that's a better fit for you.
That's really good. And last thing, would you go back into dialysis?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, not with her for sure, but like probably with another company. I'm trying to see if there's like a casual position that I could do, like a PRN position I can do in dialysis. I'd love to. I really like dialysis. It was an interesting specialty in nursing for me. So of course, yeah, I would love to go back to dialysis.
That'd be pretty cool because like from what I've seen, a lot of those companies like pretty much took over everything other than in like the big hospital systems where they actually hire their own to do their own dialysis. I just always wondered how that worked because the hospitals around where you used to live in, where we live, they're all like outsourced to those companies that like you worked for.
Fresenius, DaVita, yeah, they're all pretty much in a lot of the hospitals.
Yeah, I didn't know that before. I thought they were directly hired like
to the
hospital system, like how it is in New York City, but apparently not.
No, it's just easier for them to set up because then they know that they're getting like dialysis experienced people. They have all the machines that are linked to the companies. Like Fresenius has their own dialysis machines, so they bring all that in when they contract with the company. So it's just easier for the hospital to just set that up as opposed to like doing the unit on their own.
That makes sense, especially for like the smaller hospitals and all that.
For sure.
But again, man, thanks for hanging out with me for an hour. I appreciate you. Hopefully we can do this with like Mark. That'd be I'd love to hear his man, I don't know if I would actually like to hear his thoughts from the director's standpoint.
Oh Jesus,
I don't know if I would like to hear because we've had like many arguments when we were both drunk, and I was like, you know what? Let's not talk about work right now.
That's probably good podcast though. So I mean,
probably would be.
That's good content.
All right, man. I'm gonna end it right here. Thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Thanks, guys.
Love you, bro.
Love you.